All right, one more minute and we're starting.
Sherelle, is that Sherelle Warren? Yep, Sherelle, go make sure you go share this video on Facebook. I know you be on Facebook all the time.
We're getting called out today.
Sylvia Blackwell, oh yeah, I know you be on Facebook too. I be seeing you. Come on, go click it, share this video. We want to make sure as many people get this knowledge as possible. See, that's what's great about what Passed On is doing. They're putting out this information, so it's our job to share it with our networks, with our friends and family, so they can get access to this knowledge as well.
Awesome. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started now. Folks, let's give a big round of applause to the Deputy Director of Buffalo, Miss Dion Jack. She's going to get us started today. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
That was my fur baby.
Yeah. Oh.
That's why I put myself on mute.
Gotcha.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the final workshop in our new Money Talks Business Development Training Series. You've stuck with us, and now you're at the finish line. And I know today's workshop is going to be full of very helpful information that's going to help you establish a strong and lasting foundation for financial success. When I first approached David Krause almost a year ago now, David, can you believe it, to develop this series for us, I was new to this position and to the financial services industry. But I had worked with young people in Rochester for over 3 years, and I saw firsthand the financial struggles they and their parents face daily, and how their attitudes and behaviors towards money and money management oftentimes compounded the situation they regularly found themselves in. I had some ideas about what issues a series like this would need to address and how we should do that. And David and Letitia were able to take those ideas and transform them into this series that meets people where they are and provide them with the tools and resources and guidance to get them where they need to be. So David and Letitia, thank you so much for doing this for us. Thank you for your time, your expertise, and for creating such a great series. You work so well together. I think you guys met perhaps earlier this year, and you've just formed a really great team. You work well off each other, and we will definitely be making this series a permanent program offering. When COVID-19 hit and we had to pivot and take our trainings online, we had no idea the tremendous amount of work that it would require to do so. There are just so many moving parts behind the scenes to get us to this point where we are here meeting together via Zoom. Jahida Zapata, who has been welcoming you with her beautiful smile every Wednesday at this time, our TA manager in Buffalo, met the challenge and has done a fantastic job putting all the pieces into place so that we could have a successful workshop series. So Jahida, thank you so much, and just tons of kudos to you for doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Adam Tidwell, our business development officer, has been a great help, oftentimes working in the background alongside Jahida to make sure we don't miss anything and that we're meeting everyone's needs. Adam, thank you. Duncan Kirkwood, our new community outreach partner. Duncan, without you, we could not say this series is a success. Before Duncan, we struggled to get maybe 15 people on one of these calls. And because of him, we have more than doubled our attendance, and we will be able to reach more of our target demos in the future. So Duncan, thank you. Welcome to the team. We are just so happy that you are doing this for us. And to our sponsor, 5 Star Bank, thank you for partnering with us. and for the funding that you provide us to develop and provide programs such as Money Talks. Like us, Five Star Bank is committed to the mission of closing the wealth gap in communities like Buffalo and Rochester. And last but by no means least, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending this time with us, for sharing your stories, your experiences. We hope you will apply everything that you've learned here over the last 4 weeks to your lives and to begin to realize your dreams and build a legacy you and your family can be proud of. So thanks everyone for making this just a tremendous series, and have a great class.
Thanks, Dion. All right, let's take it over to Duncan now.
Man, I really want to kick it back to Dion. See, she's trying to be all nice and politically correct today. I told her the last conversation, she's like, she's passionate about money. She is passionate about our community, taking advantage of opportunities, building wealth, having something to give to your children, having a way that you can provide without having to ask nobody else for support, being scared to speak your truth or advocate. Like, she is about like real freedom. And I'll be trying to tell her, you got to tell people that. They need to know that this ain't just like some nice little workshops. This is about creating freedom and wealth for your family. And it's okay to, she told me, she said, Duncan, it's okay for people to say, I want to be rich. She said, it is okay for people to say, I want to be rich, Connie, right? It ain't nothing wrong with you wanting to say that. And so when I would say, you got to say that to people. You got to, all that stuff you said, you got to, I'm going to keep pushing her. Y'all, we're going to work with her. We're going to work.
Thank you, Duncan. You're my, you know how Barack Obama had his anger translator? You're my PC translator.
I got you. Well, listen, I'm going to be quick today. So first, welcome. Congratulations, you all, for making it to the 4th and final session of Money Talks. Listen, you all took this opportunity to invest in yourself. Like I tell people, I put this information in front of at least 3,000 people through all my different networks, through all the different outreach. You all, 35 of y'all, not only said, I'm going to take advantage, but I'm going to stick with it. I want to get all the information. I want to get all the opportunity. So, you know, people tell me, I'm like, oh, thank you, Duncan, for sharing this information. You don't got to thank me. You look in the mirror and thank yourself for taking advantage of the opportunity. And so you all did that. And so today, no games, no riddles, no puzzles. What we're going to do today is do an activity I do when I do resilience training. It's called Hunt the Good Stuff. And so basically, you know, we as in this society, we have like a negativity bias. So they say it takes about, some people say 6, some say 11, but it takes a series of positive experiences to overcome one negative experience. Right? Our mind just generally focuses on the one negative thing instead of all the great things that's going on. So this exercise will help you to focus on some good things and build a spirit of gratitude. And it's really, really simple. So in the chat, I'd like everybody to just name 3 good things. Well, before we do that, if you don't mind, turn your cameras on. I just scroll through all of these names and it's just like a bunch of numbers and names. One of them says Mom, Ash, LG, like, come turn your cameras on, unless you just really don't want to be on Facebook Live. But if you don't mind, let the presenter see your faces, see the reaction, see the energy while they're trying to present and teach and stuff. Look, we know it's quarantine. I got on the button-up shirt up here and some basketball shorts and flip-flops on the bottom half, okay? So we chilling. It's quarantine casual, all right? But if you don't mind, please turn your cameras on. All right, so what we're going to do, in the chat, I'd like everybody to just name 3 good things that have happened in the last 24 hours. That's it. Just in the chat, 3 good things. So I'll model it so you understand what I'm saying, right? They could be as small as I found $20 outside, or as big as I just got a huge promotion at work or finished a degree, right? Anything in between. So my 3 good things are, this morning I went for a walk. And it did not start raining on me, even though the clouds were really, really dark. I made it back home before it started raining. Number 2, I just started rewatching House of Cards, and it is just as great as the first time I watched it. And number 3, Nichols wants me to do a training for all of their students on resilience. And so those are my 3 good things. So everybody else in the chat, can you just drop 3 good things that have happened to you in the last 24 hours? They could be big or small, but I'd like if you could just take a moment and put those in the chat. And LG Stylo 4, I appreciate you letting me know you can't turn on the camera. So if you can't turn on the camera, I expect you to be in this chat going crazy, commenting, asking questions the whole time. That'll be our deal. So everybody, if you could, okay, here we go. Thank you. Family time, relaxation, caught up on soap opera. That's good stuff. Thank you very much. Able to work out this morning, receive this information right now. I'm able to speak to my family. Good, good. Woke up, made it to work on time. Woo, that's a good one. And you didn't miss the workshop. Come on, Mom. Uh-oh, somebody made 5K on Kodak stock. You might need to do a workshop for Pat Stone on stocks one of these days so you can help some folks out now. Everybody's doing the susu. We need to get some stocks. Everybody's doing the flower and the fires. We need some stocks and stuff, you know. Thank you, Dwayne. Anybody else? We got about 35 more people. We looking for quarantine casual, protein pancake, construction at my house almost done. Connie, I know that construction. Whew, I know that's you happy about that. Family dinner, handle business. Hey, Graquan Carter. Graquan, can you come off of mute and share yours out loud?
Absolutely. So, peace and quiet. I finally got that because my house is full of screaming, loud noises. A successful meditation. So I meditate every day. And this time I was able to align my chakras very well. And that sense of alignment felt good. And there was no blockage in terms of going off track with thought. And then the last one, I got a great deal with my camera. So I'm a nature photographer. So I got the perfect bundle deal on Amazon for 33 mm with a low aperture 1.8. So I'm gonna get great nature photography because I'm about to hike a mountain. So it's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's just interesting to hear about. You seem like an interesting brother.
Absolutely. We'll chop it up.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I'm gonna just get one more person because I know y'all got to get into the workshop. Who I just saw a good one. Perla, can you come off of mute and share your 3 good things?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So yes, first thing is I woke up today, so thank God. And then second, I'm so grateful to Pat Stone for allowing me to work from home because I have my 6-month-old with me. It's extremely hard, but I am grateful that I have her safe at home with me. I do have a 5-year-old, so he helps me out a lot. And I was just doing my monthly or paying some bills last night. I'm actually on track for my budget this week, so very happy.
Awesome. Okay, well, listen, thank you for sharing. And you being on budget is exactly what we want to hear at the Money Talks workshop. So with that, I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to kick it over to our dynamic presenters, Letitia, who I went to high school with, actually, so it's crazy that she's on here presenting, and David and Yahaira and the Pat Stone team. Thank you all so much for sharing. And do that every day. It'll just help you get good energy in the morning and change your focus onto focusing on good things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Duncan. Folks, if you've tuned into Duncan in any of our sessions, you will know that he is the party starter. He really does get everybody kind of amped up and ready to learn. That's what this is about. So as you see here, the main screen of the presentation, you've seen this in the other 3 sessions, but in case you haven't, here it is. Again, Money Talks. It's a 4-part virtual workshop series. Today's the last session. But we talk about personal finance and credit, financial organization and routines, financial independence, being your own boss. And again, we consistently emphasize on this, leaving a legacy for your family. Make sure you're doing something that you want to do. Wake up every day with a passion to do something for yourself, for your family, for your community. Let's go, right? All right. So these are some things we're going to discuss, but I'm going to actually, I'm going to back that up. And then I'm going to have David and Letitia kind of introduce themselves if you haven't seen them before. That was weird. If you haven't seen them before, you know, they'll introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their business, and then we'll kind of run into the workshop. All right. So David and Letitia, take it away.
Hi, I'm David Kraus. I'm a partner with New Level Strategies, and I'm real excited. I've been real excited about doing this workshop with all of you. Thanks so much for attending. New Level Strategies is a 4-year-old consulting firm, and we help nonprofits and small businesses and social enterprises in Western New York on a variety of issues. And my partner Connie is also on our meeting today. Thanks so much for attending.
And thank you everyone for a great introduction. Thank you all who are listening for sticking with us. I am Letitia Harris, officer and founder of Financial Longevity. It's Revamp Your Wealth on Facebook. My goal is to help everyone achieve their long-term goals, whatever that is in regards to wealth. Financial education equals longevity. And this journey kind of chose me. I didn't really choose it. Every single job was in alignment with that. So maybe on your personal journey with money, you'll see that it's been chasing you all along as well. Next slide. So today we're going to discuss the benefits of starting and running your business, 5 phases of entrepreneurship, financial independence, risk versus rewards, starting your own business or not, and financing your business. So the benefits of starting and running your own business, please comment in the chat. Tell us what are some of the benefits you noticed from starting your own business. Please, let's see who we're going to get to maybe share some personal stories in regards to their benefits that they've noticed. Okay, Michael McCarley, you want to share, come off mute and share some of the benefits that you noticed with starting and running your own business?
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing?
Yes, good afternoon.
So one of the benefits, I think, in starting your own business, though it didn't seem like it in the beginning, is there are some great rewards. But the biggest one for me is that I have a choice. I have a choice to make some money. I have a choice to help a lot of people. I have a choice to continue on a journey that will allow me to ultimately have financial continuity as well as financial freedom. So it is definitely to have a choice. Starting a business is probably one of the greatest things that an individual can actually do. You don't see it initially, but as time goes on, the benefits roll in. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay.
So you do your email.
Okay. Carla, you want to share some of the benefits of starting and running a business? Okay. Not sure what's going on with her mic, so let's see. Wendy Queen, you want to share some of the benefits of starting and running your own business?
I think they may be having some issues with their mic, so let's try and pick someone else. All right, I know, let's try Kiana. All right. Oh, let's see. Kiana, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Right, Kiana, tell us, what are some benefits?
Well, one of the benefits would be to leave on a legacy for my son, and lead by example so that he sees that, okay, even if I don't succeed, I'm not going to claim that though, but he sees that I'm putting in the hard work. I'm doing everything that I have to do in order to make it happen, as well as being my own boss. I've worked for a lot of people, a lot of different companies. I see the ins, I see the outs, and I just feel that I can do that. I have the ability to do that with the mindset that I have, as long as I stay focused, utilize my resources. There's certain shells that I need to come out of, as in asking for help and, being able to reach out. I've always been so independent that, I feel like I can do it all. I can manage it all, but I need to just be more productive with utilizing the resources that are out there, taking information in from other people. And I think that I can do it. So I need, like someone just said, Greg Kwan said, additional streams of income. So I need those additional streams of income in order to, fund my lifestyle, the things that I want to do and how I want my business to grow. So those are the things that I think about. And I want to leave a mark, something that is beneficial to say, my name's going to be in somebody's fine print somewhere to say, she did this, Kiana A. Laster did this, and it's going to feel good at the end. I know it's feeling good already, and I haven't even really got a foundation, but it feels good just to be a part of the process.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kiana.
Yes, thank you for sharing. David, did you want to share some of the benefits of starting and running your own business?
Yeah, we started a consultancy to specifically assist a type of organization that we thought needed the help the most, which we're geared primarily towards nonprofits, but not exclusively. So we get to choose who we can work with, and that's really rewarding. We love our work, and we love the type of clients that we can help because we know that they need it. So this is all we do.
Thank you so much for sharing. I know some of the benefits, in addition to some of the great ones that everyone shared, is definitely an additional stream of income. For me, more free time with my kids and basically getting to do what I loved. I know I mentioned a little earlier, like, it seems like this chased me down and I didn't even really realize it because it took years for me to actually even decide to monetize on this, even though I've always been helping people, with credit, with finances, with making, better financial decisions in general. And then just everything surrounding that, every aspect of finances, I've had worked for someone else doing those type of things. I worked for a bank, I worked for a credit card company, an insurance company, all things, related to finances. So it's just good to be able to actually do it for myself. And thank you everyone for sharing. So we're going to go into something that maybe a lot of you didn't think about. Now that your next slide, that the business is up and running, there's actual phases to that. So some of the things that while you're going through having your business, some things to think about. What we say is the 5 phases of entrepreneurship. So in the beginning is new venture and creation. You're creating your business from the ground up. You're starting it. You're bringing your ideas to life. And then there's the startup phase. You're actually doing what you intended to do. Then we get into the managerial phase. This is where you maybe get an employee, you delegate tasks to other people to try to help you further your business. And then you move into the manager to from a manager more to a leader. We all know that McDonald's has a great business concept, but most of the owners are not there. They delegate it and they are leaders to others who run their business smoothly. And this is a point that if you're looking to scale your business, that's the point you want to get to. And then from there, you want to think about, is it time to, expand? Is it time to create an exit strategy? David, anything that you want to add in regards to that?
No, I think you did a really nice job summarizing all those different phases. That was good. Well done.
Okay, next slide. So financial independence, one of the benefits of having your own business is it creates an opportunity for you to have financial independence. So I would say we're all still on this journey. We're, not completely there yet. Please comment about your experience with this journey if you would like. Just comment in the chat, and if anyone wants to share as well, you can raise your hand or clap and we'll, call on you. So I'm gonna share why, if anyone's shy, but please comment in the chat. My own personal experience with financial independence. I personally don't feel that I'm, 100% there, but it's definitely interesting when you begin to put the different pieces together, because financial independence isn't just one area, not being able to fire your boss or retire. It's really more than that. And that's where that legacy piece and thinking about leaving something for your children, or what, I would say how the conversation is different. Now I'm doing things with my children that my parents, we didn't necessarily discuss, or building on the things that they have already taught us to the next generation. And I see someone is commenting on the chat. He said, is their challenge is how to monetize what I have been mostly doing for free, and also focusing my energy towards achieving financial independence for me and the next generation. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. It's same thing, just leaving a legacy for the kids. And sometimes in our community, that's a foreign concept. We pretty much want our children to go after things as the same way that we did, and don't necessarily think about planning for the next generation. And my challenge to everyone listening today is to maybe think about that. There are great examples of business owners who were able to benefit off of the previous generation helping out. So everyone knows Damon Dash, owner of FUBU, I'm sorry, Damon John, owner of FUBU. He was able to expand on his business aspect because his mother was fortunate to have bought a home and had equity, so she was able to loan that to him. Other iconic people, Master P, his grandfather left him a life insurance policy, which was able to help him start his record business. So no matter how small or whatever step you take, it can be as small as a life insurance policy, or even bigger as leaving a trust, leaving a legacy for everyone. So just think about that, do what you can. See. Okay. So scaling up, someone shared about scaling up and spreading the workload to achieve that. Definitely. Okay, yeah, our next slide. Okay, so some things to consider when you're on this journey for financial independence is, one, you want to break your dependency on income. That's where the whole several streams of income come from. Lifestyle creep, you want to think about that. What is lifestyle creep? So you're making it to another level, you're making more money, and immediately we buy a bigger house, or we immediately get a larger food bill, or immediately we buy a new car. Try to avoid that temptation at all costs, because if you're able to maintain, but now you're making more income, you can avoid that and maybe further your goals. Things to think about for financial independence is, how much do you want to live on in retirement? What sources of income are you going to have in retirement? Healthcare costs. Healthcare actually costs more in retirement than when you're not in retirement. And that's things to definitely think about. Housing expenses, all things to think about while, when you're in retirement or on this journey towards financial independence. Inflation. So all things that you want to consider. Taxes, of course, if you're relocating. David, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, just on that, that's a great summary you just gave us. But on the retirement side, we all hope many of our expenses are going to be a little bit lower once we retire. Kids are out of the house, they're grown. You don't need as big a house, you maybe downsize. But as a couple of you pointed out in the chat, and Letitia's pointed out, it's healthcare is still something that you got to consider. And if you haven't checked out the Social Security site with the federal government, I highly recommend you do that. And just to see what your profile, what your account has in it, and they will give you a report that will project what you're going to see come retirement. So definitely check that out.
Thank you for sharing that. Also, I know we keep throwing this word about different streams of income. So what does that mean? What type of different streams of income are there? So we all know earned income. This is, you working a job. Profit income, this can come from you buying or selling things. Interest income would come from you lending money. Residential income, which is one of my favorites, will be come from real estate. Dividend income would come from owning stocks. Residual income, which will come from royalties from work that you've already completed. Capital gains, which will come from whatever asset you have if it grew in value. And then, of course, royalty income that you get from like your ideas. So when we throw this, word about different streams of income, you can try to figure out, which ones you want to go after, which ones are going to provide best value to you. And I see Michael shared, initially it's scary, however, you have value and what you provide is valuable. There's nothing wrong with doing some gracias. However, people have the tendency to not really appreciate free. They will pay attention when you charge. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so it's spotlight time. We're gonna give anyone who wants to share an opportunity to talk about your business idea or your business. Please, you can comment in the chat about your business, and we are going to call on a few people as well. Okay, Melissa, do you want to share? I know you had mentioned earlier about your business. Do you want to talk more about that?
I could give you a piece on this. So
initially I formed my business because I'm doing what I want to do and what I love to do and what I have the skill set for. And hold on a second. Sorry about that. My son had some music going that was not appropriate, and I know this is going to be on Facebook, so I just really didn't want that playing. I formed my business because I am like the people that I work with, and as a person with a disability, you know, I have to rely on some programs and supports, and I help people with disabilities put service plans together and direct their services. And I was an independent contractor to begin with, so I needed to create the business structure. And it's been me, but my vision always was to grow the business so I had more people doing this work under my business. And COVID kind of has caused me to struggle significantly because I was in the process of trying to get financing, and that all ceased because of COVID. So now that things are turning around and opening up, I'm looking forward to moving, you know, in the growth direction. But I struggle because right now it's all me, and I was already at the point where I needed to hire somebody else to help me with some of the business functions. And one of the growing pains that you go through is you can lose business because if you grow too big too fast and don't have the workforce to support the activity. I actually went through that and am still trying to turn that around. So, you know, this is what I want to do. I just have to figure out how to support that with the resources, the personnel, and, you know, the initiative behind what I'm doing, right? So, yeah, COVID has not been kind for this, but, you know, I'm adapting. And, you know, I thank Pathstone for offering these opportunities, and I have been in touch with Adam. I know there are things in the future. I have a positive outlook. I'm like a terminal optimist, some people say. And yeah, despite the challenges, I still am feeling pretty positive, and I'm still focused on moving forward. I just don't know what that's going to look like right now because there are a lot of things that none of us could have planned for, and especially me. But, you know, I need to work through that stuff. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. And yes, these workshops are definitely going to help you, and your attitude is going to help as well. Like having that positive attitude is going to push you forward. Okay, we'll have more time, you know, throughout the session, and we'll pick a few more people. Harry, want to go to the next slide? So we're going to go into risk versus reward.
All right. So the entire idea of starting your own business is kind of like an exercise in risk versus reward. We ask ourselves, what are the risks? What are the rewards we're seeking? Like we've all talked about, it's not just financial. Financial is definitely part of it. We're not doing this on a volunteer basis, and we're not doing it, you know, for free. But there are other rewards. Being your own boss, setting a direction for a company that you want to start and fill a need, servicing your customers. That can be a very rewarding experience. So this risk reward little graph I made here, I'm trying to tell the story of, you know, as you increase risk on the bottom on that x-axis, I don't want to get too much into the math, but on that x-axis, as you increase risk, you would expect that higher reward is going to follow. That's the whole idea. So it's a matter of how much risk you want to take on. And starting a business arguably is higher risk than continuing in your job or working for someone else. So we're trying to identify what works best for you in terms of the risk and the reward. Next slide. So now we're just going to throw out some questions. And if you could comment in the chat. And taking out a loan to start your own business versus financing your business startup out of your own pocket. What would you folks consider to be riskier? It's kind of right down the middle, which is almost what I would have expected. And that's gonna depend on your resources. What are the terms of a loan? Do you have funds out of pocket that you can put to use in a business startup? I can paint a picture, I think we all could, about how one direction would be riskier than the other, or conversely, you can go the other direction and it would be riskier. And this risk reward framework, we're trying to throw it out there today so that you evaluate major decisions about your business, like how to acquire startup capital, how to make another major investment to scale up, as we talked about with Melissa. Where should that capital come from? This risk reward framework kind of helps sort through that a little bit. Great. Thanks for sharing, everybody. Let's see the next slide. So going in alone as a solo entrepreneur versus taking on a partner. Again, I invite you to comment in the chat, which is riskier here. Michael says depends on the partner. Bingo. But some of you are pointing out that it's riskier to go solo, but partner seems to be a pretty common answer. And Letitia, yeah, it does depend on what type of business. Some businesses aren't going to lend themselves real well to taking on a partner. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Agree as well.
Sylvia says she'll need a staff for her business. And the idea of taking on a partner doesn't mean that the partner has to have a managerial role in your business. You could be taking on a partner for their investment in your business. They could be a silent partner. A lot of that would be established in an agreement that you would set up with that partner. And to plug the next boot camp session for Pat Stone, Monday is going to be talking about organizational structures. So. Yes, Perla and Kiana, 50-50 solo and loans. You go all alone, all rewards go to you. Bingo. Yeah, this is great. Let's go to the next slide now. This is great, folks. Thanks for sharing those answers. So what do we just see? Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone's got a different set of circumstances, and there's usually no perfect answer or no answer that applies to everybody, because we all have different risk tolerances. We all seek different types of rewards and levels of rewards. So the right answer for you is not necessarily going to be the right answer for somebody else. And Lathanet pointed out something just now, 2 is better than 1. That kind of speaks to the reward of working with somebody, because I can speak personally as a solo entrepreneur, which the last business I ran, I was working alone all the time. That's not the case anymore, because my business partner here works with me on projects. Working with someone is a reward that I take very seriously, and I enjoy that. So That's why we have a partnership. Very good. Thanks, folks. This is great. Let's see the next slide. So again, just to kind of emphasize this again, when you make these major decisions about your business, starting it at all, how to fund it, partner or no, business structure, which we're not going to directly talk about today, you want to evaluate the risk and the reward. So these are some of these questions that you might ask yourself, and we'll kind of flow through these. If you use your savings to fund your business, well, what's the risk if you deplete those emergency funds? You don't have your emergency funds to deal with an economic downturn, maybe like we're facing now. But what's the reward by putting those savings to use? You might be able to get the business off the ground by doing so. If you take on a partner, as many of you pointed out, maybe the partnership doesn't work out, depending on the partner you took on. So what's the risk of that? And you have to dissolve the partnership. If you've acquired assets, then you have to have agreements as to what happens to those assets. And if the partner brought special and unique skills to the table, then how are you going to replace that? So those might be some of the risks. But what's the reward of forming a partnership? Spread the work around, specialize, enjoyment of working with other people. But again, a lot of this depends on the type of business you're trying to start. If you take out a loan to start your business, what's the risk of not making the payments? That could be significant depending on the terms of the loan. Or what's the reward for taking out the loan in the first place? You might not have to put your emergency funds to use. Take out your personal credit card. And if you start the business, what's the risk of this is the big question. What's the risk of the business not succeeding? You just have to have those conversations with yourself. And then what are the rewards you're seeking? Because that's what you want to focus on by starting that business. Great. Well put, Michael. Taking on risk, planned risk, kind of a known risk. Yeah, and we're all going to make mistakes. We've made plenty of mistakes in our business, and that's unavoidable. But you want to identify those risks up front as much as you can. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
And just kind of that element of strategy when you're going into this idea of risk versus reward, you need to think about all aspects of that. Like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that could happen? What's likely to happen? And then, are you willing to tolerate what's worse? And if you can, then you want to move forward. Because there's no gain without any risk.
Exactly. Plan for contingencies. Exactly. Great. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about financing your business. And we'll go through a couple of scenarios at startup and then maybe down the line to give you all a flavor for how these decisions are going to affect your financial statements, specifically your balance sheet. So we'll have some numbers today. If you're seeking a loan at startup, you're really going to need that plan to be solid. So you need to have fleshed out a business plan carefully, because you're looking for that lender to invest in your idea. And I want to emphasize that it's important that we view lenders as almost as partners, as investors, because they're looking for a return on that loan. So it kind of turns it on its head a little bit, because they're not investing equity, they're not taking an ownership position in that company, but they are investing in you, your idea, your business plan. So view them in a real collaborative kind of framework. Same goes with taking on a partner if you do that. And then, as many many of you have pointed out, if you're going solo, you're incurring all the risk. There's upside and downside to that. All right. Okay, so now here's an example, and this is fairly close to a small business we helped 3 or 4 years ago here in Buffalo. So let's assume you need to buy some equipment to get your business off the ground. It costs $40,000. You have $7,500 in your own savings, and you decide that you need a $42,500 loan. And why would you take 50 if you need 40 for the equipment? Well, because you need some working capital, some cash to fund the operations while your business gets started. So what is your initial balance sheet going to look like? Let's go to the next slide. So here's your balance sheet at startup. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the balance sheet today than we are the profit and loss, because the profit and loss, I think we all are real comfortable with that. But the balance sheet gives you a point in time picture of your business, how much capital you have in it, how indebted your business might be. So these examples are really going to gear towards the balance sheet. So the balance sheet is carved up into 2 major parts. I like to think in English language. So you'll have the assets at the top and the liabilities and equity at the bottom. So these are your company's assets. We talked about you would need a $40,000 piece of equipment to get the business started, and $10,000 in cash to fund the operations, to pay the bills. Perhaps you need to buy inventory. This is day 1 balance sheet. Down at the bottom, you see this is how you financed your company's assets. So when you hear the term finance, that's really what you're talking about, how assets are paid for. So you got a loan payable of $42,500 and equity of $7,500. So you have an equity position in that company from that $7,500 that came out of your own pocket. Okay. If anyone has any questions in the chat or you want to hop off mute, just stop me. Okay, let's look at the next slide. So after a year, that year was a success. You had 100,000 in sales. You were selling inventory of some nature. So 50% cost of goods sold. I'm making some assumptions just to paint a picture here. 45% all other expenses. So we're going to build a little profit and loss here. All other expenses, including the interest on the loan, the depreciation on the equipment, all your operating expenses, any salary, insurance, utilities, 45% of that 100 grand went to pay all those expenses. And if you do the math, you get down to a $5,000 net profit. All in all, that's great. Let's go to the next slide. And to simplify it as much as I could in the time we have today, the entire year could be summarized by those 5 accounting entries, just to build out your income statement and then your balance sheet at the end of that first year. So I'm not going to take you through each of those entries, but if you have any questions, we can talk about any of them. This is what I do, so I'm ready to talk. Your income statement for that first year. Remember, the income statement is a period of time measure as opposed to a point in time measure. So the income statement measures your activity over that first year. And to rehash from that last slide, you have 100,000 in sales. I'm looking at the bottom of this slide right here. So you have 100,000 in sales. You back out your cost of goods sold of 50, which leaves you the gross profit of 50. And again, our assumptions today are 45%. All other expenses, including interest, depreciation. So operating expenses plus the interest and depreciation, which leaves you with that $5,000 net profit. I'm going to stop for a second. I see a really interesting comment. Inquire of that CPA to really have that person explain to you the numbers that they're preparing on your behalf. That's an area that people like me struggle with, because sometimes we think people are going to understand numbers, and if it comes you know, it's not second nature to everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's your income statement on your profitable year. Those are the entries that support that income statement. Before we jump to the next slide, the assumptions I made about the depreciation and the loan payable are best guess assumptions. I'm assuming your piece of equipment's on a 5-year depreciation schedule. So 1/5 of that would be expensed in year 1. And the loan, I assumed about 1/10 of it would be paid off in year 1. So that's how we came to those numbers. This would be accrual. The cash equivalent, kind of sort of, the cash equivalent of it would be the statement of cash flows, which is absolutely vital as well. We're just not going to dive into that today. Exactly. I think Dion said this last session or 2 sessions ago. You should be the master of your own numbers. You don't have to know how to book every transaction, but you better understand what those numbers are telling you so you can make strategic decisions about your business. And if somebody's preparing numbers on your behalf, ask them to explain. And if they can't explain, then find somebody who can explain it to you. Great, good stuff. All right, now let's see what happens to your balance sheet at the end of that first year. So remember, we had 100 in sales, we had 5,000 in net profit. So the first thing is all the way to the bottom, the equity went from from 7,500 to 12,500. So your net profit goes right into your equity line. Now I'm assuming that the earnings are staying in the company for this example. Your loan payable is a little lower now because you don't have as much debt on it. Good thing my sister's your cash and your machinery and equipment, the book value of that equipment now is 32,000 because you bought it at 40, you depreciated 8 of it. You're down to 32,000 book value on the equipment. That book value, we're going to throw some more terms out here. Book value is different than fair value. That doesn't mean if you had to turn around and sell that equipment tomorrow, what you would get for that equipment. Fair value is what you would get on a fair market transaction for that equipment. Book value is how the books are kept on that piece of equipment. So the cash, I invite you, if you're looking to kill an hour this afternoon, you could recreate that cash number based on those 5 entries on the prior slide. But here's your balance sheet. Now, when I look at this, I say, oh, okay, the company is a little less indebted. It's got more equity in it. You got a healthier cash position. Those are good things. This is just an example of what might happen and how you would pay down debt and what it means to the numbers. So your capital structure, we're gonna get real technical here, sorry. Your capital structure, which is the liabilities and equity at the bottom of the balance sheet, it's changed. It's changed in ratio because you have more equity and less debt. So there are a bunch of ratios that lenders, like Passstone and 5-Star would use to evaluate your balance sheet, and that one of those might be a debt to equity ratio. Long story short, you're trying to get that balance sheet as healthy as possible so that getting a loan is more likely. The terms of the loan would be more favorable. And as a couple of you pointed out, you want equity. You want to demonstrate that there's equity in your company, because a lender really needs to see that you have skin in the game. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. Great. Now, assuming I haven't put everybody to sleep showing you balance sheets, we want to hear about your business now.
Yes, please comment in the chat your business idea or what type of business you have. We're going to pick someone here to maybe share as well. Joyce, would you like to share about your business? I'm not sure if she's not able to unmute. Let's see. Let's try to have someone else share.
All right, let's see if maybe Lola can unmute herself. Lola, would you like to tell us about your business?
Hello.
Hi, Lola. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I do catering and event planning. Specializes in treats, desserts. Um, I guess a hobby turned into, sort of a business. I am horrible at keeping books. I know that. I'm not accepting it. I'm trying to do better. Um, I just need all the help that I can get. I love cooking. I love sharing, making people happy. I love designing. I love the outcome of it. I have a great support team. My boss, she pushes me. She said, I know this is not for you. You need to do better and bigger things. So she's actually my life coach, I call her. And I recently ran into a high school friend of mine, and she opened up her own financial business, and she has been helping me. So that's my financial port. And so I'm just branching and trying to learn all that I can learn and share it with the youth.
Awesome.
Okay, what's the name of your business?
It's Miss Lola's Event Planning and Catering Services.
Okay, thank you for sharing. You got us over here wanting some of them treats.
When we graduate, maybe I will.
Hey, can I share my idea?
Yes, please do.
Please do. Yes.
So it's not all over the place, but I have many different endeavors, but I see that they're all aligned with each other. But Dion, she told me that I really have to I have to put more emphasis on one before I can try to manage 4 or 5 different things. So I'm gonna just talk about one real quick. And it's Gray's Concoctions. And I'm working on the business plan. And I'll be selling juice, smoothies, and milkshakes. And once I get the storefront, I'll have a kombucha bar on tap. Yeah, so competitor wise, that their primary market is smoothies. Is only 2. Well, yeah, it's about 2 or 3 different businesses in Rochester that are doing that, and they're specifically selling smoothies and juices. So I'm expanding that with the milkshakes and kombucha as well. So it resonates with who I am because it's for your inner being, is for the health of you. So once you are introduced to Gray's Concoctions, whatever that concoction is, it's going to rejuvenate you as a person. It's going to elevate you mentally. It's going to elevate you emotionally because you know that all of the ingredients, organic, and they're what is it called? So there's 2 different things, all all things are acidic or alkaline. It's alkaline, I believe. So all the ingredients will be alkaline. Yeah, I'm still working on that word. So yeah, it's rejuvenating, and that's how I'm gonna promote it, and bringing individuals in. So, and I'm gonna create this atmosphere that's beautiful, have that certain ambiance of real powerful music. Well, it could be classical music or jazz once they come into the facility, and the individuals that I have working, constant greeting and giving off that positive energy, because I'm all about positive energy. So Gray's concoctions, and eventually we're gonna get to a point where I can ship out Gray's concoctions, so you can order online and it can ship to you directly. Thinking large scale in terms of the next 2-3 years, potentially could do it in a year and a half, depending on how business goes. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that, and I want to. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, get excited.
Thank you so much, Raekwon.
That's great.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing. That sounds
awesome.
amazing. You know, I would probably want to try that, and I'm not really on an organic kick, but that sounds great. Thank you for sharing.
One more thing with that. So right now, what I'm going to do, I have my label, and I just ordered 12 bottles, 11 ounces. And what I'm going to do for marketing purposes, I'm going to have a certain menu, and there's going to be 11 lucky individuals that get to taste and try out my product. And then I will want feedback, and that will be for like testimonial purposes or when I'm marketing at a higher scale. So one of you, well, there may be someone in this group that's going to get that experience. So.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
That sounds great.
Nice.
Very cool. Is there anyone else? Are we looking to spotlight? Let's see. How about maybe Tiffany Rogers? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. My business is Posh Pleasures Boutique. I sell lingerie, loungewear, lotions, massage oils, candles. I sell online, and I have pop-up shops. And I'm gonna start selling makeup, and I'm also gonna be at the Fillmore Flea Market soon as they open again. And I've been in business for a year and a half, and I'm also a caterer.
Sounds like you got a lot going on, Tiffany.
Yeah, I drive Lyft, I sell Avon.
Like a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. Let's give Tiffany a round of applause,
Yes.
as well as everyone else here.
Thank you all for sharing. Yes.
All right, Letitia, we have anyone else, or we want to go on with the presentation?
Yes, we'll go on to the next slide here.
All right, so it looks like we are close to the end, folks, just about. But before we get into the questions, which I know, a lot of you may have a ton of questions, lunch is on us. So whether you're joining us from Buffalo or Rochester or anywhere else, we appreciate, obviously, you joining us. We only have restaurants in Buffalo and Rochester, so I apologize for anyone that can't partake in this part. But here are your options for lunch today. So you have Manna or Taste of Siam, which are located in Buffalo. And then we have Damn Good Chicken and Peppa Pot in Rochester. So, you know, we're super thankful that these restaurants decided to participate with us for this workshop series. Amazing food. If you haven't tried it, this is, I mean, it's free, right? You might as well. You don't have to spend your own money. You get to try something new. So definitely let us know in the chat what your option of the restaurant is. Please, if your name is not, right now, like in the chat, if your name is not your full name, if you have a nickname there or anything like that, if you could please put your choice of restaurant as well as your full first and last name, that'll help me when I'm getting the vouchers out. Because I can go ahead and check it based on the registrations from Eventbrite. If not, then unfortunately I can't send them out because I don't know exactly who I'm sending it out to. So again, please help me out. Please, please, please. That would be super helpful. Let's see, what else do we have here? Actually, let's see. Okay, so I'll mention this. A couple of our upcoming events. I know Dave mentioned it in the presentation earlier on, but we have our Boot Camp for Startup series that's already started. We are now going into week 3, which will be on Monday. We're going to talk about formation and legal structures. This is a great workshop for those of you who are kind of in the idea phase. Or even if you're in the startup phase, right? Like we're really trying to help you kind of hone in on what you're trying to do with your business, right? Just really get those things together. The idea is put a business plan together, right? Because if you're looking to get funding, you know, from any type of source, they're going to be asking for these things, right? So we want to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward. So sign up, it's free. Amazing presenters throughout the series as well. And then our last Friday forum is next Friday, August 7th. So register here. We're gonna take a little pause for the rest of the summer. And then I believe we're gonna commence kind of once the fall kicks in. But you know, a lot of these things we do record. So if you're kind of on the fence about anything, check us out, you know, check our YouTube page out. You can see a lot of our previous workshops, even from this particular series. And even if you're just trying to recap on some things, like maybe you're like, oh, I know they mentioned something, but I can't quite remember what it was. Look at those videos, right? They're there for you. That being said, we do have a survey going out, which Adam is going to go ahead and kind of put that link in the chat. But we want to know, like, what did you think about this series? What did you learn? What did you like about it? What are some things that you think maybe we could do better? Just give us your feedback. Again, you know, we really do appreciate you folks taking the time to join us. And we want to know what you need because, you know, we don't want to put things together that aren't going to be beneficial to you. So again, you'll not only will the link be in the chat, but it'll also go out in a post-workshop email along with the recording from this series, or this session, I should say, as well as the presentation slides. So there's that. And I will tell David and Letitia to take over from here.
Yes, thank you for sticking with us throughout this workshop today and all 4 workshops this month. Please comment in the chat or come off mute if you have any questions that we can answer for you today. Please fill out the surveys. Your feedback is invaluable to us and we need it. So we're going to open it up for any questions. If you want to comment in the chat or come off mute to ask any questions that you have.
I just wanted to ask if we wanted to reach out to you guys for just a little bit of guidance, what are your hours? Or do they vary?
So we are here every day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, Kiana.
Thank you. And I just want to say that you guys, this was a great series. All of the information that you presented, it would be very helpful. I know with launching my business, you guys provided a lot of clarity for things that I was unsure of or uncertain, and then just gave me the extra push on, you know, stop thinking, overthinking so much and take action, you know. So I do appreciate that, guys.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you, Kiana.
I do want to let folks know that if you go on our website, which is, I'm going to type it in here, the Enterprise Center Inc.org, and you check our contact page, you can schedule an appointment with either myself or with Adam or with Jahida. You're able to do that on our contact us page.
Excellent.
Awesome. All right, folks, any questions? I mean, there was a lot of information that was thrown at you today. Now's the time to, you know, really ask those questions, get a better understanding. I myself am not the best with the financial aspect of the businesses. The numbers do make me a little dizzy. I'm a little bit more on the basic side. I know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, but some things, you know, are a little more overwhelming to me personally. So, you know, what about you folks? Is there anything that you feel like you have a really good understanding at, or anything that you feel like you need more help with? You know, let us know. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions, or if you feel more comfortable putting it in the chat, go right ahead.
I threw a lot of finance and accounting terms out there, so if I lost anybody or you want a better definition, you know, let us know right now, and I'll try to explain something a little bit better.
I wanted to ask David, for if you needed funding for like startup money of about 150K, just as a base, what is the amount of capital or equity that I need to have available in order to secure or to be approved for a loan like that? 5,000, 10,000, what do they favor? More money, I'm sure, but.
Right. I'm going to defer to Potstone on that because that's part of what they do as well. So.
Yeah. Hey, Kiana, Dave, thanks for deferring. I can answer that question. So if you're going through a bank does look for, each bank is going to have kind of their own underwriting standards, but they're going to take into consideration the overall credit worthiness and the overall business finance picture as well as the personal finance picture. So I don't want to put a blanket statement on it of, okay, if you need $150,000 to start up, you need to put in 10% of that or 20%. It's a little different than, say, a mortgage where you know that you're going to need to put down 10% or 20% in most cases. But so with us, we don't necessarily require any specific percentage, but we do look at, okay, let's look at the whole picture here. Let's look at the personal finances, the business planning, the business projections, and then, you know, what are you able to put up? What are you willing to put in? Because it is easier for a lender to get involved when the entrepreneur does have financial skin in the game.
Thank you.
And we're also looking at your experience in the field that you want to start a business in, right, Adam?
Absolutely. It's helpful to know, you know, we have a business readiness survey that we have all of our applicants go through and all of our TA recipients go through, and it looks at all those things. It looks at, you know, what's your experience in the field, what's your management experience in the field, and then, so every year that you're in management or in that field, you get a little greater boost on that overall score. And that's just kind of a representation of, it shows that you have the ability to run a business in that industry. you know, that you're not, say, a welder going in and starting a bakery. So, or a baker going in and, you know, running a welding shop. So we want to see that you know what you're doing in that business.
Mhm.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank
There are some folks in the workshop series who had signed up to receive credit counseling from Letitia. Letitia, do you want to talk a little bit about what that will look like, what you're expecting people to come to the table with?
Okay, I'm sorry, Dion. Well, I have an unstable connection, so you're coming through broken up.
I'm sorry. I wondered if you might talk a little bit about what the credit counseling that folks have signed up with you will look like and what you are requiring people to come to the table with.
Okay, so anyone who signed up for the credit counseling, you have to print out all 3 of your credit reports, which you are able to get for free from annualcreditreport.com. And then we would go from there. If there's any additional sites that we need to go to, we would do that during our meeting. But that's basically what you need to get started, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Letitia.
We had a question in the chat. Someone asked about when are they going to get an email about their business mentors? Is this for boot camp?
Yes, that's for boot camp, and I believe that Adam is working on putting a list of people who requested mentorship together and trying to find mentors who are willing to work with our startup business owners.
Yeah, I'll speak to that real quick. Great question. Everybody should be paired by the end of the week, and you'll have an introductory phone call and or interview, or phone call and or email with and from me, so we can make those connections.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, any other questions? Oh, it looks like we just got one. Can I still sign up for credit counseling? Yes. There should be, I don't have the link on me, but maybe Letitia, Adam, or Dion, if you can maybe put that in the chat, please.
What's that?
For credit counseling, signing up for credit counseling.
Sure. Yeah, let me do that. And I also want to answer a question that's come to me, and I think I've gotten this question a couple times. If I can just take a second here.
Yeah.
So Pathstone Enterprise Center we're a small business lender, and I want everybody to remember that. We're also we're a community development financial institution, which means we are a nonprofit. We don't have to make decisions the same way a bank does. Now, we still make proper decisions, and we have to protect all of our borrowers and ourselves and our portfolio, but we don't have as strict underwriting standards as a bank does. And one thing we work very hard to do is make sure, and we're going to continue to do this moving forward, is make sure that we are making loans that are making a positive impact on the community we serve. And so we don't have to make a decision based on, okay, this person is a perfect risk and we don't have to worry about them. We're willing to work with people who have maybe damaged credit or a lack of credit or a strange credit history, and then also startups, people who have never been in business before. So we're willing to work with everybody. And so the answer to the question that was asked to me is no, our underwriting criteria are not as strict as a bank's. We like to see ourselves kind of as almost as a partner to banks, where a bank cannot come in, we can do what a bank can't. So we are willing to come in and help out those who can't get traditional financing.
Adam, someone's asking, how do we compare to working with Weedy?
Yeah, so we do a lot of this. We offer a lot of the similar products and services and lending operations as Weedy. Weedy is actually one of our community partners. So we are in a coalition with Weedy and Pursuit and Launch New York. So we all work together, and we understand each other's portfolios and profiles really well. So if we think, you know what, this may work better for Weedy, or if Weedy thinks this may work better for Pathstone, we have this open dialogue. It's not some intense competition like you would find between, say, KeyBank and M&T or Evans or ESL, or it's really a partnership, because our goal is community and economic development in Buffalo.
Thanks,
And I
Adam.
want to point out that Weedy's focus is on the immigrant, refugee, and asylee population. They absolutely do provide business loans to other businesses, but that is their focus. So we each have our little niche that
Yep.
we work with.
Awesome. And there's someone asking if our loans are at a higher interest rate than banks.
The rates are typically higher. You're going to be somewhere between 7 and 9%, but that shouldn't be a deterrent, and I'll tell you why. We would never make you a loan that doesn't fit your budget. That would not be good for you, and it would not be good for us. So the interest rate, while you'll be paying back a little bit more money than you would with a bank, one, we're going to be able to finance you quicker, and we're going to make sure that your monthly payment works for your budget. And we're not going to make you a loan just so you can use part of that loan to pay us back. We want you to take all of that loan and invest it into your business. So again, we will make your payment work for you.
That's very good, Adam. And I do want to point out that because we are funding people with riskier credit histories, as with any financial institution, when you extend a loan or any kind of funding to someone with a riskier credit history, your terms, your rates are going to be just a little bit higher than someone who has a perfect credit score.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I guess seems that's about it for the questions. Again, folks, just want to thank everyone for joining us in this workshop series, Money Talks. We really hope that you got as much as you expected, and even more, actually. That being said, we really want to make sure that you take away a lot of the information that was provided in this workshop. Again, make sure that your routines are setting you up for success. Look at the habits that you currently have, and be honest with yourself, right? Because it's not about being honest with anyone else but yourself. Are you setting yourself up for success? Or are there some things that you could definitely work on? I think we all could work on doing things better. And finance is one of those things that, if you don't catch it in time, you might find yourself in a little bit of trouble. So make sure you're setting yourself up for success, not only for you, for your family, for your community. Again, thank you so much to our sponsors. Thank you to our presenters, everyone that was involved, all of you folks that attended. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cannot thank you enough. We look forward to seeing you in the rest of our series. Like I said, make sure sign up for boot camp if you're in that ideation stage or in the startup stage. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're always ready to, sit down and talk with you. At this point, obviously, it's virtual. But we will eventually get to a space where we can actually see you in person, and that'll be great. In the meantime, thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye, folks.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys. Thanks, everybody.